I'm now joined by two gentlemen who belong to our Global Leaders of Tomorrow community of the St. Gallen Symposium. Sam Johnson from New Zealand to my left. He is a social entrepreneur, and to my right, Robert Torvelainen, who is very much involved in politics in Finland. So now my first question would be to you. You have been members of our Global Leaders of Tomorrow community. How is that for you? What can you tell about this experience?
For me, it's a great resource to call on help if you need to work on a project, to share together ideas online. There's a lot of debate that happens throughout the year, and the last 3 years I've been coming here, we've formed really deep friendships and bonds with people who are working on projects and initiatives at the cutting edge of global change and global trends. To be able to have a like-minded group of young people doing that is exceptional, and there's no one else in the world that does it.
And I think further, the kind of people that are here and the kind of people you meet, both the leaders of tomorrow and then the current leaders, I think it's a very exceptional group of people. And then having that possibility also challenges yourself, thinking what you could do with your life, what kind of projects you could come up with together. So it's definitely a huge opportunity.
Thank you very much. So now the St. Gallen Symposium has gratefully decided to involve you in one of our projects called Tomorrow Laboratory. It's called the Tom Lab. And what can you tell us about this concept?
I think the Tom Lab has given a unique opportunity to, again, with really exceptional people, to discuss and develop ideas in a laboratory setting. It's not necessarily connected to your work. It's not necessarily connected to your studies, but it's more that it's this intellectual pursuit that might have a concrete end result as well. And like we now from the first Home Lab have a project that is starting now. It's very exciting.
So our project looks at entrepreneurship and immigration and looking at the movement of entrepreneurs between small states. And the basis of it is that a lot of entrepreneurs, you try to go into a city to start up a new business, and there's a lot of barriers there. And unless you have $250,000 or $10 million to buy a passport in a new country, it's actually very difficult to move in there. And so our proposition that we just launched on the stage today is that actually countries should set up a new visa category called a citizenship by entrepreneurship scheme, a new pathway, if you will, to enable entrepreneurs and enable cities and governments and countries to attract top talent into their small state. And it's really championing and looking at the freer movement of people globally, which we think in times to come, it's going to be a global necessity.
Congratulations. And now my follow-up question would be, of course, what's the next steps? How are you going to launch this project after it has been kind of presented today at the St. Gallen Symposium? What's really coming up now next?
Yeah, so the big thing is trying to meet with some different governments. We've met with a couple already. We've had a lot of interest today, and we'll be going back home to Finland and to New Zealand and starting with our own governments there who are quite interested in the concepts, and it's about trying to actually work that and get it into the legislative framework. But really in the next couple of years it would be good just to get a one or two, or at least one win. Someone from the president of Rwanda came up afterwards and was speaking about the applicability of this concept for their government. The Prime Minister of Malta has been very interested in the concept from a conversation earlier in the week. So we're about trying to find the right pathway to achieve that. It's a movement, not an organisation. We're not trying to create a business out of it necessarily. It's about trying to get this important idea, an important policy idea that we think is important for the world to happen.
And in a larger part, I think it's not only meeting with governments, but meeting with media and people who are interested in such an idea and
startup hubs.
And overall getting people thinking about, because immigration globally is an issue, and okay, our idea targets a very small part of it, but overall I think it can also spark the wider debate and discussion, and hopefully lead to a more free world where people can go where they please and make the change that they want to make.
Sounds fantastic, and I'd like to thank you very, very much for being part of this global community, for joining us, for being part of our initiative, and we keep fingers crossed that the next steps are going to happen. Thank you so much.
Thanks for the support.